To start?
27th.
Yes.
Call meeting to order of Lodging Tax Advisory Board. Can we get the roll call, please? Oh, sorry. Should I do that again?
Court.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Decker. Kozlowitz.
Here.
Ryan.
Here. Okay, Decker's here.
Decker is here.
Hi, Decker. Hi.
Hello.
So the next item up is the approval of the agenda. I do have a revision of the agenda under old business. Item B, review destination blueprint template. That is a leftover I forgot to delete from last time. So we don't need that on the agenda. Can I get a motion to remove it?
Okay.
And second, me. All in favor of removing item B under old business, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Updates from so we removed that item. Does anybody else have any changes? I lost my place, sorry. Okay. Well, I need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I don't know if Jason can hear us.
Jason, can you hear us?
I can.
Does he know he's looking over our shoulder?
Next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from our last meeting on June 13th, 2024. Does anyone have any changes or amendments to the minutes?
Nothing from me.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
And second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next is old business updates from Destination IQ. Lindsay, you have the floor.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
I'll share my screen.
Thanks for joining us after hours.
I'm going to have to flip around.
No problem. So this will be a quicker update for the next data. And typically this time of the month when I meet with Marty, it's really a check-in on all the tasks that are happening, to keep everything moving forward. So I always go over things that we finished in the last 2 weeks. So I won't dive into all the details with the full group, but the bigger takeaways. So the Destination Blueprint program wrapped as of the 20th, was the official last week. I've worked with a lot of CTO programs and a lot of mentors, and they do bring it on good contractors, but I think this is one of the more successful programs that I've seen. I think that Marty got out of the program. And what I hope is that we're here to assist carrying that program through, the communication with the stakeholders in the city and any sort of education she wants to do with business owners. We can certainly help her with that. But I think it was a really great program, and I'm really happy that Trinidad was able to participate in that. And part of that was the Lazy Lake Crazy Days of Summer Social Toolkit that I think Marty will distribute tonight. And that's an educational tool for local businesses on how to promote tourism, socials, and how we can also help them. And it's something that gets put together, and so that will be a great resource. But the other thing I want to bring up is, and I think Nin sent this to the group, that we pitched the Well Hotel and Travelers, the CTO PR tooling, and as a result, it was included in this Unwind After Mountain Culture that these 5 hotels article is 5280 is my favorite Colorado location. Any of my clients who have a strong front range visitor target world, like Trinidad. Anything with the green is really good. Items in progress, the website facelift, we're getting really close to being finished. Our designer had run out of town unexpectedly. He had a death in the family, so she's still in by about a week. We have to review the final pages, it'll be good. So I think that rather than end of June, maybe the first week of July. So that should be coming soon. And this is fun. So we paid for a social co-op program with the CTO. So we paid for half of the expenses and they paid for the other half. And we had, the program is that they bring a filming crew down and they shoot footage for a day, and they create a reel on their social channel and they collaborate with us. So we get to leverage all the traffic from Colorado's or the Visit Colorado's Instagram account. But then they also gave us a folder full of there were some stats from that one post. So the one post that that also on our account, we got 17,621 plays. Real drop is 400. It reached over 2,000 accounts. So for the small amount that we paid for this, we got a lot out of it. And so that's another great program that the CTO does. And we're planning on doing something similar, but a little scaled back in the winter, probably around the Winter Fest. It's a smaller match amount, so I don't think the deliverables won't be as much, but there is a winter co-op that we'll go in for as well. We have a lot of variety right now in your Meta ads, and those are your Facebook and your Instagram ads. These are the ones that are currently running, the art festival, these are preview days. We have an event carousel, we have lined up art in the city, and then your general ad that I believe is going to be coming down soon. And then in the queue to take that general place, we have a new kayaking ad, Long Island Skateland, and then a gravel cycling ad, which is, I believe, the board requested that. So those are all approved and ready to go. They may even be running, I checked in just yesterday, they weren't running it, so they may not be running yet. They may start in July. Let's see what else is going on. We have Jeff Montoya set up to start shooting for his promotional video. I think that was organized by the board before I came on board, and I really appreciated Jeff's enthusiasm and willingness to shoot a large number of places and events. Like, he didn't say no to anything. So I anticipate we're going to get quite a bit of B-roll from him, which is fantastic. We'll repurpose that for sure. We're also hunting down some photographers to bring down kind of a variety of professional photographers, so we can get some more high quality or high res images of the city. And we're also working on, and I might have mentioned this last week, but our asset discovery, and this was part of our proposal and it's in your contract. It's not an additional cost. What asset discovery is a full spreadsheet of everything there is to see and do in the city. So that includes everything from trails to historic attractions, we might not dive into restaurants. We have that from the CTO. Events. So when we were in town for our immersion trip, we grabbed every brochure that was available, and we scour through that, and we start pulling out every little detail, anything that might entice a visitor to come to Trinidad. And we include phone numbers, websites, social accounts for all of these assets. And what that does is that sets us up to create a new website, if you will. So when we talk about creating a new website for Trinidad, we're going to increase the amount of content and what we're sharing with visitors on it and what they can do. This is the base for that. This is the first thing we always do before we build a website, is do this asset program. Because then we can categorize things and we can start getting an idea of organization, navigation on the website. My goal is to have this done, the due date for it is the end of July. The reason being is we want to go into the CTO marketing match grant and ask for a full new web design. And if we can show them that we've already created this list of assets with all the details, we're a step ahead. We don't have to do that work. It doesn't. It won't delay the design or the copywriting for the project, if you will. So it's a really good foundation to have when you're diving into a big project like that. And that's it. I showed Marty our budget where I cross out things that we've done, things that are moving along smoothly, and we've knocked out a lot that we planned for this year, so I feel really good, and everything's done really smoothly, and I feel like we've gotten a lot of projects accomplished, and social media is moving along really well. Your Google Ads are moving along. Getting traffic to your site. I'm looking forward to the facelift because I imagine that we'll get an increase in engagement once that's live. So lots of good stuff. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Nothing on this. Anybody have anything? Nope. I think we're good.
Trinidad, you're muted.
We're muted.
Oh.
Did I take it off?
She's got it.
I think, can you hear me now?
So, yeah, no, everything's looking good. Website refresh looks amazing. I can't wait for that to go live. I was wondering, I noted I was being served Lazy Crazy Days at carousels on Instagram. Not sure if that's strategic or we want locals to be seeing those as well. If so, that's fine. I was just checking on that because I know we suppressed against Trinidad on some of the other ads. This campaign, I can see the rationale maybe behind having that local as well. Gets people out exploring. They see the checklist and stuff to do or whatever. But that's the only thing I wanted to bring up for discussion was that I was seeing those crop up in my feed.
Yeah, I think that's a good question, Joe. There's certainly an argument for and against it. I don't have a very strong opinion either way. I love the idea of getting locals on board with more of them. It's a big hurdle that I have in every destination. Like Facebook tends to be the account that really reaches the locals, and that's where they use them. Sometimes it's negative, I'll be honest. Sometimes it's positive, but it's important that we let the locals do anyway. And if they're coming out of, and now I'm just thinking out here.
Sure.
If they're seeing it and they're engaging with it, maybe there are things that they hadn't considered they could do in Trinidad during the summer. And they're being fed some ideas. And then they can go to their friend who lives in Cal and say, you should come up because I just did this really fun thing. And I don't know, it can certainly grow. I don't see any negative in this particular campaign hitting your local community. But we are more than happy to make that and take that out of targeting if the group doesn't want to show up.
I'm okay with it. Something that we might want to consider is just if we're sponsoring it locally, maybe having like a cutoff threshold or something, just to make sure that a ton of our budget doesn't get gobbled up only here in town. If we're working with $500 a month or whatever, like that can definitely go pretty quick. So I'll defer to y'all on strategy there. But yeah, I'm also just thinking out loud at this point on that.
Yeah. Maybe Meta is not my area of expertise, but I bet you we can see where that traffic is coming from. It may, gosh, I know in analytics, if I want to see where like keyword traffic is coming from, I can only go down as far as the state level. So Meta might be similar. But I can look, I can ask Chris to see if he has some other way of finding it out.
Cool, thank you.
Any other questions? Nope. Nope. I think we're good then. Thank you, Lindsay. Appreciate your update as always.
Well, thank you everyone. Have a good rest of your evening.
Yeah, you too.
You too. Thank you.
In a couple weeks. Okay, bye-bye.
Happy 4th. Bye-bye.
Sure.
Okay, guys. So it is 5:48. We have about 12 minutes until 6 o'clock. Should we take a break to wait to give people time to come in?
Yeah, we should definitely wait until 6 p.m. start time before we jump in. Yep.
Do we have to vote for that?
Do you want to go on miscellaneous to board members? Because are we going to talk about that in front of them?
We can definitely move on to miscellaneous unless we have any objections.
No, I like that.
Okay.
And here's a question, the update on funding requests and process for that. Is that going to be something new, or are we just going over the same policy that we've had before?
Right now, it's just the same.
Same policy.
Just the application process, I believe, is what we.
Okay, well, I didn't know if there were different amounts now. Like instead of 10,000 for first one and 5,000 for second one, or have we lowered those?
So the last conversation that I had with Steve and staff was deferring to the policies that were in place with the tourism board.
Okay.
Which was $10,000 for new events, $5,000 for second, continuous events.
Okay.
But that is something that you would have to start next year so that we can actually budget for that.
For if we change the amounts.
Right, so that we can change the
Just
amounts.
now that we're at a point where we don't have a whole lot of money left for the rest of the year.
Right.
Okay. But we have to change it again. Okay. So I know one of our concerns is making sure it's defensible. So if somebody requests money and we say, well, we're not going to give you 10,000, we'll give you 7,500, we have to give them the reasons why. So if you've ever used a decision matrix, so I made a column for each of us, and then I just came up with like 6 different questions or values that we might have for doing an event, and then assigning a multiplier to each one of them. Now, if this has been done in the past, we subtract, or we say, all right, then that starts at 5,000, and we just subtract from there. So I haven't done all the math on it, but I just tossed those things in there. How many of you think that they're good?
I'm gonna say let's hold off on this in-depth discussion until it's on the agenda.
Okay.
Just because if someone wants to hear about that,
Right.
then
I do.
It's on there and there.
Thank you for pulling this together, though. It's something that we needed. I was going through a lot of our old minutes and putting together the deck for today. And there's a number. This has actually come up like probably 4 other times.
Really?
So
Okay.
now we finally have something in place. So thanks for doing that.
Yes.
Well, we'll look at it next time, and
Yes.
you can tell me if you think these are good things to measure by, and then I can create a Cosmo quiz. If you scored over 80%, then you get a full 10,000.
Do you still have it?
Yeah, might as well hang on to it. We'll check it out in the
We can take a look at
Here, Jason.
I think Jason left.
Okay. Okay.
Welcome back, Ashley. Officially, I assume.
Yes.
Awesome.
It was official as of the 18th.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks.
Good to get some continuity. I have one miscellaneous item, which is that I went to the council work session on Monday, presented our ideas for spending recreational facilities and programming money, which we got with the Parks and Rec Board about. So the three items that I presented were building out new mileage at the wormhole, wayfinding signage, and playgrounds. I suggested an audit first to see what needs fixed, and then repair or purchase of new equipment. That seemed to go well. Council was receptive. It was clear like we'll be able to accomplish all three of those projects to completion, but ball's kind of in their court in terms of prioritizing and taking budgets from there. So because the money's already been allocated, they don't need to hold a vote. They will just go ahead and instruct city staff to proceed. So we definitely should make a note to follow up on that in the coming weeks and see if there's any traction. I did stress some level of urgency with the potential of the lodging tax increase, as well as this being just our second year, really first proper year under the new ordinance, that if we don't start spending that money, like we don't know if that's a good idea, if it's working or not. So hopefully got a little bit of a fire lit and they start pushing something forward out of those projects. So we can start having a track record there. That is all the info I have out of that meeting.
Very good.
Do you have any?
I do. Just that was fine. That was for me. Wait till she gets back to this church.
Oh, there you go. How you doing? Good, good.
Can't hear it.
Mine's on 5, so I'm doing too good. Does it have to be on time?
Okay.
We got 6 minutes.
All right, what you got?
Update on the on our radio campaign to educate people. We have
Pat, will you sign in?
we had 3 good spots running. Start that. Waiting to did we get our extension? Did you?
What's the word I'm looking for?
Renewal.
Requisition was submitted, and I'm waiting for the purchase order to be approved.
Okay.
Sorry, I lost my words.
And it was for the 2000. Very good, very good. I did have a meeting with Les on to make sure that we say things that are legal, stay out of trouble. And he and I had a good discussion. Gave me a good idea of what to follow. I thought it was a very good idea. The education side and boosting a little bit of faith in those of us that are in charge of the industry. So I think we're in good shape. We'll continue to update the spots and go forward, and then probably hitting the tax a little bit harder in August.
Cool. And then next time I want to start, I'm sorry, I'm adding something. Oh, go for it. Okay. What was it, the long-ass list of all the businesses that we got? That was pretty old, right? Okay, well, I'm going to start going over those and start crossing out ones or put this duplicate of one so we can start going over that.
But that's all I have. We can learn. Keeping that rolling. I know it's a pain in the butt. Requisitions are never fun.
Yeah. Is Jason on?
No, he left. He said I had to leave.
Oh, okay. I only have one small thing. When I did my interview, we kind of got a little sidetracked, but Councilman Shu requested that we set up a work session with them to discuss strategies for the lodging tax.
They were asking me a bit about it as well.
Yes, so I'm going to put that on the next agenda to discuss what we want to discuss.
Yeah, I would also add, we're probably due to go present an update to them. They were just curious about things in general. So Mayor Griego said that she had kind of filled them in on some stuff from tuning into meetings here and there, but we obviously have a fuller picture of it. So really a lot of the stuff we'll be talking about today, we could regurgitate for that. So.
And then the concern I got from them was, are we going to do something? They don't feel like anything was done last year. Whether it was or not, it obviously wasn't effective. So.
I remember Mayor was talking to them about the stats from the social media stuff that we got from Lindsay, and I think they were pretty impressed with that. But yes, we'll definitely put together something.
Please sign in, ladies. There's a little sign-in sheet right there.
Allison, go to the podium. Did you sign in?
No.
Sign in?
I will.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi.
You're back.
Hey, JC.
Hi, is this the stakeholder meeting?
Yes, it is. May I ask what your name is?
Five was the top.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear us?
How many did you say?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can we get your name, please?
Yeah, this is Carlos Lopez.
Oh, it's Carlos.
Hi, Carlos.
Hi, Carlos.
Carlos, we're just down the street.
Hi.
Come see us.
Any more miscellaneous from the group?
I'm all good, thank you.
Cool deal. Okay, so, yeah.
We have 1 minute.
We'll just give it a couple of minutes before we start, make sure that everybody's in place. Wow.
How about you? How's your day going?
Spelling. Doing all right?
So, Joe, just FYI, what I put on the chairs was the Lazy Crazy Days of Summer.
Yep.
And we put this on there. So this is the destination.
Cool.
Good to see you.
Final draft.
So, Joe, are you just going to pretty much all of this covered in the presentation?
It more or less, agenda-wise, yeah, I think I touched on everything. I was going to move relatively quickly through what I have. If we want to dive into around anything, we can. Also, please stop me and chime in with you guys at any point.
So your slides cover A.
Oh my God. That's the.
Do you have a slide for C?
I don't really. I mention it in terms of kind of a list of things we've done to date.
Mexico.
Yeah, so there is a point in here where it'll come up. I have new marketing request processes for events and businesses, so we could discuss it at that point.
We have a mute button.
But that's not necessarily something that's like.
Do we have a mute button so that somebody's talking and we can't talk over yours?
I'm sorry, it's the debate.
Oh, that's the debate. That was a joke.
Yeah, that was a joke.
Oh, okay.
Tonight.
What?
I thought you were talking about the call.
Right, so Joe, when I want you to share your screen, can I do that? Or how are you going to do your presentation? You want to just...
I can I can join the call on here.
And then I can
And then you-
let
and then
you
I can
share your
share my
screen.
screen.
So I didn't know if you had a flash drive that I could throw in here. or-
That'll probably work the easiest.
Oh.
so I just jump on this.
Okay.
7. Should have one line. How many did you see?
So it's just
You
two
didn't
of you.
use that.
Oh,
What are we
that's
doing?
hardly worth it.
Huh?
And you would have won $40. Whenever you're ready, I will give you your one.
Hi, y'all.
Just gotta mute my machine.
Siblings.
Okay. I'm going to hit share screen now so we don't have to do it in the middle of everything. So, all right, Joe, tell me how to do this.
You want me to share out first?
Yeah, why don't you
Yeah,
do
I
that?
can just do it.
The first 2 pages of our next show.
Ooh, cool. There you go.
Thank you.
And then thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, so I'm going to hide everybody. There we go.
Are we ready?
We are ready. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this evening. This is our first business stakeholder meeting. We're hoping to do this on a quarterly basis. The second meeting of the month will be held with the public. The first month of the quarter will be our business stakeholders, or I guess it's the last month of the quarter. Our next meeting will be with residents, and then the last month of the quarter will be a meeting with other boards. This is something we're hoping to do so that everyone can have a chance to come and learn what exactly it is that we're doing, as well as have some input, or if you have questions, let us know. So first up on this item is the new business stakeholders meeting. Is a little, Joe has a presentation that's going to cover the function of the Lodging Tax Advisory Board, our marketing and advertising updates, including info on the DIQ, Destination IQ campaigns to date, and slides from their update decks. Then we'll do an update on the funding requests and the process for that. And then we have another slide deck for the upcoming campaign, Lazy Crazy Days of Summer, which you'll also have a copy of in your lap there. So I'm going to pass it on over to Joe. It's all yours.
Right on. Hi everybody, my name is Joe Kazowitz, Secretary on the Lodging Tax Advisory Board. I encourage my fellow board members to chime in on anything here. There's a lot to cover. We'll have plenty of time for Q&A at the end if you want to delve deeper into anything that we're talking about today. But first off, just a quick introduction about what exactly our board is and what we do. Like all citizen boards, we are merely an advisory board. So while we do make decisions amongst ourselves, those are recommendations that we pass on to the council and city staff. So the purview is ultimately with them in terms of monies allocated or contracts executed, anything like that. The decision is theirs. Some of you may already be aware. At this point we've been at this for a year and a half or so, almost a year, 1 year,
3 months.
in May. Wow. Jeez, feels like forever. So we've been at a little over a year. This is an all-new board. Chris did serve on a previous board, and it's under a new city ordinance. The new ordinance restructures a bit about what we are allowed to recommend and advise on as a board. So we're going beyond strictly marketing and advertising. Previously, all monies in the lodging fund were reserved for promoting the city only. I do think that those rules were probably bent here and there, but for example, if an event or an organization came to the board and made a funding request, typically those funds would only be for promoting the event itself, so not supporting anything else that goes into that event or that organization. The intent behind revising the ordinance, by my understanding, is to help build quality of life. And so a lot of the things that we might be able to spend some of the lodging fund on today are things that play into tourism. They can build a great experience for a tourist, but they also help make things better for our own local residents as well. A good example of that would be there's between $100,000 and $150,000 allocated this year from lodging tax funds that can be spent on recreational facilities and programming. So I this past week went to the council work session, recommended a few items that we had identified to spend that money on in working with the Parks and Rec Board. So that's just kind of one new line item, if you will, that we're allowed to spend that lodging fund on. Our mission does, however, still remain to increase tourism and lodging tax revenues. That's essential to us. So everything we do or recommend spending on should build towards that goal. Our board members have experience running local businesses in the hospitality realm, outdoor recreation, and in arts and culture as well. So we do feel that we have a decent representation of kind of the areas that we touch from a tourism perspective. So, as I mentioned, our mission is to improve the quality of life of our residents through tourism. We're responsible for promoting our community as a desirable destination in a sustainable, environmentally responsible, and transparent way. Our goal is to ultimately lessen the tax burden on our residents and then to create social and economic activities for everyone to enjoy. I spoke a bit about this already, but in terms of, when we talk about quality of life, what does that mean? And so these are kind of the three areas that they broke out away from strictly marketing and advertising spend that we're allowed to use some of the lodging fund for. So I already mentioned the recreational facilities and programming. Another one is arts and cultural programs, and then festival funding as well. So the bottom line is supporting our town, all the stuff that's going on here, as a great place to live or to visit. Early on, we met and identified some strategic goals as a board. So this kind of informs our overall ethos and how we're approaching everything that we're doing. So our goal is to promote, generally speaking, the city center over the region. This is where most of the hotels are, it's where people stay, it's where they come back to eat. We always want to be tying things back into downtown Trinidad. That being said, the Fisher's Peak and Trinidad Lake, those are huge attractions. We see major search traffic for those. I know when the ad agency came on board, some of the first things they were reporting statistics-wise were that Trinidad Lake State Park was like a top keyword. So that stuff's already out there. People come here for that. It's going to continue to grow. We definitely want to promote those great natural assets. We love our history and our architecture. That brings us back to getting into downtown. We think that's really important, a great differentiator for Trinidad versus a lot of other similar mountain towns. We have all this great intact architecture. The Riverwalk is on our list to promote. Festivals and events, of course, but we do want to take a bit of a focus towards things that are city-owned and administered. I have a list later on of all the great things that we have helped support through funding, but part of the idea that we've discussed a lot is, over the past couple of years, we've seen a number of private events fall by the wayside for one reason or another. And so if we're going to be spending tax money on things, something that has continuity, that the city is able to kind of run year over year and build upon, hopefully is something that can last longer and have longer legs. So definitely one of our goals is establishing those types of keystone events year over year. The art scene, we all know, is thriving here. So First Friday's music scene is amazing, and our performing arts as well, all high on the list to promote. Beyond that, general goals would be to boost our winter tourism traffic. We all know how town slows down over the winter. We would love to see those numbers tick up, come up with some reasons for people to come here. Establishing a festival and events, kind of spoke to that already. Obviously, we want to grow our lodging tax revenues, but we'd like to do that while keeping the budget flat if possible. We're doing a lot of work to align with the state and the Office of Economic Development and International Trade. They have a number of really great programs, one of which you guys have a copy of this Canyons and Plains Region Destination Stewardship Strategic Plan. So I know city staff was engaged with them on that front. And just that's a regional deal, but we also have several other programs, one of them being Destination Blueprint, which informs this summer campaign that we'll speak about as well. Definitely want to keep growing on that relationship with the state, snag as many grants as we can. I know that there's a new grant cycle opening up soon, which actually I meant to talk to Lindsay about while we were on the call. So just keep working closely with them. They have a lot of money and a very loud voice. Good example would be, we just heard from our ad agency, we had a social media co-op program with the state, so they amplified some of our posts out of Visit Trinidad, able to reach tens of thousands of people that wouldn't be following our accounts as well. So they've got a whole machine running, and we should do everything we can to take advantage of that. Lastly, we want to build this, a positive tourism culture among local residents and businesses. So we need buy-in from everybody on this. And so we don't all have to agree on the exact campaign details or what's being promoted. That's all certainly up for discussion and feedback, but we do need everybody to agree that bringing tourists in is essential to the economic success of our town, that we rely on that, and that it can help improve our own quality of life down the road. You guys got anything to add on our general strategic goals?
No, you did good.
Thanks. Yeah, if you don't mind, we're going to have some time for Q&A at the end after I just run through the presentation, and we'll make sure that we're able to hear everybody at that time.
I don't think it's on purpose. No, it's just Could we ask you to mute? If you're on Zoom, would you please mute?
We did. Yeah.
Make that larger.
Yeah.
I don't think I can make it any bigger. It's sharing full screen. Yeah. We did also set some 3-year goals in terms of having some more specifics. So for 2024, we have already onboarded a professional marketing firm. They are called Destination IQ. They're based up out of Buena Vista. And so Marty's been working really closely with them. We meet with them as part of our bi-monthly meetings. They've been doing a really good job. I would say personally, I feel like we're maybe just like 1 or 2 months behind where I'd really like to have seen them for the year in terms of, we're in the heart of summer and we're at right now, like the machine is on. So it really feels like it just flipped on in the last month or so, and it'd be nice to be slightly ahead of that. But I won't critique their work too harshly. They've been doing a great job, and I'll run down some of what they've accomplished in the following slides as well. We are looking to see a positive percentage growth, whatever that may be. 1% is great as long as we're moving upwards in overall revenues and visitor count. So we're keeping an eye on those statistics here, especially through the crucial summer season. Looking to establish a new city-owned event. I don't know if we really have an update on that front. I mean, Santa Fe Trail Days was taken over by the city this year. That definitely took much more of a local focus than a tourism draw, but I think it was a successful event. People really enjoyed their time. and I think that we can only build on that down the road. We did also have the Winterfest, which Amanda here spearheaded, and I thought that was a really good foundation as well that people seemed to really enjoy. It was fun to see the streets coming alive in the middle of the winter too. So some good positive traction on events there. And then looking to secure some grants. We had a general target in the 6 figures. We'll see how that goes here with the new grant cycle coming up, if we can land some good matching dollars. I'll probably leave it at that for now on the 3-year goals. These are definitely subject to revision as well, as we kind of learn from what we have been building on so far. So jumping into progress to date, we have a $144,000 marketing budget that is managed under Destination IQ. They've broken that out into line items, which we ran through and approved. So that runs the gamut of really any type of marketing and advertising. In general, we have adopted a digital-first approach, so we've pretty much reduced almost all of our print advertising, very limited on that front. Focuses on digital marketing and digital media for sure. We're running some radio ads still. A lot of that messaging is focused on our local outreach instead of regional tourism drop. When we came in, we had a very large surplus of funds that had rolled over year to year. We were instructed that it would be ideal to spend that down quickly. They were looking for a balance of around 200,000 in that fund. When we came in, I think it was over 500K, 560 something. One of the items that we spent that money on, or recommended that the money to be spent, was acquiring some city assets with a goal towards these ongoing events. So 2 of those items were a mobile stage, which was used for Santa Fe Trail Days. It is over there if you want to check it out. Super cool. And projectors that have been used for the projecting art. So those were some large capital outlays that have already been put to work for some cool events. Part of the idea is that we could also lease them out at a very affordable rate to private events as well. Help reduce that overhead for any individual organizers. Versus, for example, I know Blues Fest, a huge expense for them was renting a stage every single year. So that was part of the intent behind acquiring those items. As with any good marketing campaign, one of the first things we did sitting down was defining our target personas. So we worked with the ad agency on that as well. Broadly speaking, we're looking at people up and down the Front Range, Texans, New Mexicans, neighboring states. So really focused on that regional draw, people who would come here on a weekend trip, maybe on a whim, spend a couple of nights and explore and then head home. So retirees as well as younger families. These days, Gen X and Millennials, they are the largest spending cohorts, so we are certainly focused on that as well in terms of our targeting. Social media is up and running. Really exciting to see regular content going out on that. If you aren't following Visit Trinidad, please do. I know the ad agency had to start fresh on Instagram. We had issues with permissions on that front in terms of gaining access to the existing account. So that one is still kind of building up, but it's got a couple hundred followers now, and they've got some good content out there. One of their budget line items was hiring an on-the-ground local content creators. So we have locals as well that are contributing to that, and they can get stuff in more real time. So if there's a really cool event going on, they can get a video, kick it out, it'll be on social media much faster than if we had to go through like a handoff and review process type of thing. We have a website refresh in progress, which is really exciting. Just kind of modernizing the look of visittrinidadcolorado.com. Was definitely a little bit overdue, and it looks really slick. It's not a full redesign, just building on the existing template, but making it look a lot cleaner and easier to navigate. I can share out a preview of that here as well in a moment, and I'll switch my tab over to that.
I'll just add to the website that one of the grants that we will be hopefully applying for will be used to create a whole new website.
Yeah, complete
Build one
redesign
out.
on that. Agency has been working on fleshing out our media library and doing an inventory of that. So we had plenty of existing assets, but getting stuff that's maybe a little more current with the state of the city. So photos and videos, both in-house and from their contractors, as well as some local folks. So like Jeff Montoya, some of you may know him. He's working on a promotional video for us and some social media clips as well. So looking forward to seeing those out in the wild. Itineraries are in progress, which will be an area of the website that just has ideas of 2 to 3 day trips to come and do here in Trinidad. So those will be really good to share out and promote. And then we have a new marketing requests process for events and businesses, as well as like funding requests. And maybe somebody else can speak a little bit to that process.
The marketing request is going to be separate from the funding request. So if you have an event at your business or something that you want to promote, you can go to the visittrinidadcolorado.com website, click on contact, and then that is our marketing request form. You just fill it out. It goes directly to Destination IQ. They evaluate. I believe they contact and discuss what would be needed, and it goes from there. So it's available to anybody in the community.
Yeah, and that helps get promotion out on all our social media channels or anywhere else they might be working on things. So really just helps kind of amplify what these events are able to do on their own with a much broader reach, especially they will sponsor some of that stuff as well. So it's going out to the various targeting groups that they have on the paid media side of things.
And there is no additional cost to the organization for using those marketing requests. That's on our dime. Mm-hmm. So if you want to promote a particular event that you're hosting a little bit more, so in addition to what you're already doing with your marketing and advertising, this is something that the Lodging Tax Advisory Board is offering at no cost to your organization for your events.
Thanks, Marty. And then what about the funding request process?
Funding request form has been updated recently. Marty has a copy. Is there a copy available online, Marty?
Not yet.
Not yet.
So when we launch that new website, the refresh for the website, it will be on there.
Otherwise, you can pop in and grab one from Marty here at the office in terms of funding requests. We get hit hard and often for funding requests. That's one thing I think was learning process for us as a board is coming up with a better way and more clear and transparent way to sort through those and be fair about how we're allocating those funds or recommending how they are allocated. So we have a new scoring rubric that Amanda has put together, and we're going to be discussing that here moving forward in terms of having a clear way to sit down when funding requests come in that's less subjective to kind of work through those. But some of the events and institutions that we have recommended money be given to since we started was the Smithsonian exhibit that was here in Space to Create, which was really awesome. The Winterfest, the A.R. Mitchell Museum, Main Street Live, 420 Fest, Santa Fe Trail Days, the Trinidad Triggers, the Trinidad Art Fest, the Farmers Market. There's a Mount Carmel concert series that's upcoming through the summer, and then the rodeo in the fall. So there's probably one or two that I missed, but just to give you an idea of just how many folks are coming and requesting funds and how we have to prioritize there, that is some of the stuff that we supported this year. Just a few statistics really quickly. I didn't honestly have as much time as I hoped to get this slide pulled together, but some of this comes from our, it all comes from our marketing ad firm. We're seeing Google ad click-through rates, so sponsored posts on Google if you're searching for things that are Trinidad related or like stuff to do in Colorado. Click-through rates of 18 to 19%. And 5% is considered a good click-through rate, so they're really smashing it on the Google ads. On Meta, which is the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, we're seeing more like the average rate there, so 4 to 6%. Still considered a good rate. So overall, those ads are positive. those are being promoted out to the target regions that I already mentioned. So generally speaking, they're being suppressed against Trinidad, so you should not be seeing ads here in town. The rationale behind that is that it's kind of a waste of money to promote the tourism-specific messaging to locals. We don't need to be paying for that engagement. Hopefully, people are seeing that anyway on the organic side. So organic social media, when we talk about that, it just means we're not paying for it. It's not a sponsored ad. It's our people who are following us anyway. So we're seeing around 300,000 impressions a month across all channels, about 3,000 engagements per month, and then 30 to 40 clicks through to our content. And ad spend is about $500 a month approximate for each channel. So within Google and within Meta, about $1,000 total a month is going out the door on those ads on average. Lastly, I want to speak to the lodging tax increase ballot measure. Is likely to be on our ballots again this year. We feel it's very important that the business community is out there promoting this, assuming that you agree that it would be favorable for the town. If you allow me to make a case for that, we are way lower than comparable communities, dramatically lower. We're talking about the difference of $1 to $2 a night on an average hotel stay. Not very significant increase for the visitor, but it would literally double the amount of money we have to go out and promote Trinidad, as well as the other quality of life improvements that we have out there. I think it's really important to stress that this only affects visitors and hotel stays. I know that we all have family and friends that stay here that may not want to pay more, but it's not like a monster tax that's going to hit our general population. So this would significantly increase what we're able to do in terms of promoting the town, and then also enable those new quality of life investments as well. Really hopeful that we can see some traction on those. I mean, we have some of the fundings on the arts and cultural side. We've seen some of those funds go out in terms of what we've allocated to support those events and institutions that come from that line item. But you know, I know some folks have been hopeful that they would have received more money from lodging funds, and in the end, there's only so much in the pot. So we would really be able to help support more of those cultural institutions if we're able to pass this ballot measure. So quick plug for that, and we'll be ramping up messaging for that from the board as the year wears on and we get closer to election day. So I know Chris is working on a radio campaign in regards to that, and making sure that we're staying legally compliant as well, because once it's officially on the ballot, we have to be careful about promoting it explicitly from the city perspective. So, I believe that is all I had prepared on here. Anything that I might have overlooked on the agenda that you guys want to delve in a little deeper on?
Anything separate, the lazy days?
Yeah, that would be a
Lazy Crazy Days is a separate day.
Yeah, that's a separate day. Marty has that.
I do also have it open if you want me to share it out.
You can.
Yeah.
So you want to do a Q&A on these things first
Yeah,
before you hit?
I think that's a good idea. So I'll open the floor up to any questions on just, you know, working with our ad agency, how we've approached things so far, basically everything else I just ran through. Happy to answer anything you guys want.
Yeah, Joe, this is Carlos Lopez. Thanks for that presentation. I've got some comments and some critiques about the marketing team for the International Fly Fishing Film Festival. We were informed that we could input our data for the event onto the Trinidad or Visit Trinidad, Colorado website, and then you go into contact us. But and that's great. But there was never any follow-through or response back to me. I never heard anything from anybody, so it almost felt like my information that I put out there just went to the ether. So as a critique, I would say, because right now I don't know if any of our information even got distributed. I don't know. No one ever reached back to me. I had a text with Ashley a while back, like on May 9th, just kind of inquiring, you know, what's going on. She said, hey, maybe they just haven't got to it yet. And I was like, okay, thank you. but I never got anything back from anybody on that end. So I would highly recommend that feedback is critical. I also know the ArtFest, sent some information to them and a follow-up email, and nothing was ever sent back to them when an inquiry was made. So these are critiques that need to be brought up. We want to make sure this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing that. I think that should be pretty easy to make sure to work into our process and workflow. I do know I saw an ArtFest ad from the Visit Trinidad Facebook account just this week, so I know they definitely have that one in the mix. But a follow-up, or at least a reply saying, hey, we received this and then we're going to queue it up in the coming weeks, definitely should happen. So appreciate that, Carlos.
Yeah, and it's interesting you bring up that you saw it on your feed. When I saw it just a moment ago, you said that these posts and things aren't made locally, they're being disseminated elsewhere. So is that maybe only if you follow visittrinidadcolorado.com? Or like, what happens if you're not someone from the area and you don't follow that page? How does it land other than through, like normally when I do something, I do a boost, and then it lands as a sponsored kind of boost. How does that work for others who don't know about it?
Yeah, most likely in this case, I saw it because they put it up as an organic post because it's something that we would want everybody to see, and then they sponsored that post similar to what you're talking about, and that would hit their targeted folks who may or may not follow Visit Trinidad, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because one of the things I know for ArtFest, they offer to give them other resources, and I think just that follow, I'm just, beating a dead horse here now, but just that follow-up would be pivotal to let other people who are taking the time to do this, which I think is a great tool, but just let them know, like, hey, we're working on it, this is where it is, and maybe even say, hey, by the way, here's this material that we're putting out. Maybe you can share it in an organic manner where you are, like, say, sharing that post through your social media presence, or you're disseminating it through email lists that you have. That way, you have a follow-up on it.
Yeah, I think that, between the agency and Marty and volunteering you here, like if a post is queued up that came from a marketing request form, it's going to be getting scheduled out in advance. They should say, hey, we received this. This is when we have you slated on the calendar. And then after the fact, a quick screenshot that has the post, maybe a link to it, and ideally even like a couple stats on it. If there's ever a point where we're seeing crazy volumes through this request form, that's the only time I would push back a bit on some of the stuff I just mentioned, like because it just adds overhead to our marketing agency. We would be that would be coming out of budget that they could be using for general promotion. But right now, as it stands, I don't see any reason why they couldn't be doing some additional follow-up. And at a bare minimum, even if we were seeing a ton of submissions, they should say, hey, we received this and we are working it into the calendar. So that confirmation is definitely essential.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for letting us know, and I will definitely make sure we ask them about that.
I appreciate that. I'll wait for the next topic to bring up another concern.
Anybody else have anything on what we covered so far?
I have a question. I've heard some big numbers: $150,000 for outdoor rec, a $200,000 surplus, $144,000 advertising budget. The list of people that have received support so far. Is there a report or a place that we can go to see where all this money is going, what it's for? Like, I know how much the Mitchell got. I'd like I'd like to see where all the money is going.
Yeah. So we did vote me as treasurer very recently, and I have yet to have any time to pull it together. I may actually rescind from that because I'm, quite frankly, I'm pretty overwhelmed at the moment across all of my responsibilities, but we can discuss that later as a board. broadly speaking, the lodging fund should have a budget report published by the city as well. That would have the breakdown in terms of those spending areas. So that's something that was presented to us under the ordinance in terms of which things fall under which buckets. That's also subject to be changed if necessary. So right now this is a little bit of a grand experiment in terms of where the ordinance stands. So things like 150K on recreational programming and facilities, that's something that could change year to year with council's instruction and approval. So the ordinance could be
super broad. I want to see a detailed version of it.
Chamber's very interested in that as well. Chamber members are asking for that same thing, some kind of accountability, some kind of listing of where those dollars are going, especially the members that are in the lodging industry where these monies come from.
Yep.
That's all public record, city staff should have that.
A report would make it a lot easier. Our organizations don't have the time to go through those budgets as well. If this board can put together something like that.
To whom do we direct any comments about the website, like things that should be on there that are on there? That Visit Trinidad.
Yeah, it's a great time to send that stuff. I would say in general, if you have just like a list of things you would want to see.
Well, I'm just noticing under hotels we don't have Hilton on there at all.
Right.
So that's a big.
And that is noted.
Okay.
That's, yeah, we just did a revision of the visitor guide as well. And so we'll be taking all of the things that we revised the visitor guide and applying that to the website as well. There were a lot that needed to be changed.
I was trying to figure out how would I send an email or anything, and I clicked on email, the little icon, and it sent me to the city website. So it didn't make any sense. That link is not working properly.
And that's on the current Visit Trinidad?
Yes.
Yeah, so that the facelift is in progress, and a lot of that stuff should get addressed as part of it. I'll share my screen real quick on a preview for that.
And so while you're doing that, is there an ETA for those things for the new visitor guide, for the new website?
The new visitor guide is at the printer as we speak.
Perfect.
So we should be getting something soon. I don't know how long that's going to take, but it is at the printer.
And the website refresh?
Website refresh is, we're going to show you what we have so far.
An ETA for the public though?
I would say probably by the end of July, early August.
Wow. Lose a lot of summer.
We do, but it's a big project.
Is at least some of the updates that are there when we, for months, we still had the Artocade there. We still had Sexy Pizza. We still had those kind of things. And that went on for months. Is that gone? Is that gone from the current site? Because that's minutes.
What Joe is going to show you now is what we're working on, and that should be done soon.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about live edits on existing site.
Yeah, I think we still have businesses and things there, Artocade, Blues Fest, and that kind of stuff on that site. It's just, it's unmarketing.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of what we want to project.
Yeah, and I would add, just real quick, and I see you have your hand raised, sorry about that. The city currently does not have budget to hire any kind of dedicated communications person. So we no longer have a comms position. There was some discussion in the board. We were lobbying for, at a minimum, a part-time dedicated marketing representative who would handle things like the website updates and social media from the city perspective. It does not appear like that's going to happen anytime soon. So I think there's enough need on the communications front. This is me speaking personally at the moment. On the marketing and the comms front, those are two different things. Marketing is external, comms is internal. So speaking to our population versus promoting the city. But there's enough overlap, a single full-time role there or even part-time that bridges those things, I think is adequate. And I think that there's definitely a real need for it.
Current budget right now that you have, that the current marketing agency can go in there and just delete just make those edits? Do they not have access to the current website?
Yeah, they certainly have access.
Because you and I know that's a quick fix.
Should be.
We all know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So, but bigger picture, long term, I think that's a need that would be had.
Thank you.
The photographs are beautiful. I think that's-
Yeah, it looks really nice. It'll be a big improvement. Content-wise, they've also refined it. So looking forward to that finally getting live.
Nice.
There's also some, on the social media posts, some copy edits that probably should be fixed before they go out. So like it mentions the, it calls it the kit boundary, but it should be the KT boundary. So if people start Googling kit boundary with regard to the dinosaurs, they're not going to find anything. Or like it says senior, like Seaboard Blandina Garden instead of Sister Blandina Garden. So those should be fixed before any social media goes out.
Yeah.
Further, I would, if you want me to, I can look through the rest of them, but I'm not sure who.
Yeah, you know,
we make those notes.
Yeah, I mean, all we can do is tell the agency on that front. Like, we don't have anybody at the city level who's running social media, and that is part of the goal of onboarding a professional firm. So,
but I can give them my thing back, and then if you want to. I don't know if they receive paper notes or not, but whatever is most helpful.
Sure. I mean, I'll just tell them, hey, you have a bunch of typos, like, get it together.
You can share those with me, Tracy, and I'll send them up to them.
Very nice.
Hey, folks, can I add a comment to that? I think having a professional firm market is great for a couple reasons. One, it takes duty off of our already inundated staff plate, right? I think that really helps our staff so they can focus on other things that are more in-house. But also, I think it's very pertinent to make sure that these people that are doing this are getting correct information out to folks. So for instance, like with the Visit Trinidad Colorado.com website, right, I found out about the Easy Crazy Days of Summer ad or page through a friend who shared it to me, and there's some information on there that's really improper, I think. And this is my example of that, and that's why it tethers into that topic. Like, there's a discussion about, or a page about going to the dinosaur tracks during the summer. And we take people out for hikes at the dinosaur tracks, and I'll tell you what, I won't go out after mid-April because it's too hot. And people can get really in trouble if they're out there without enough water. They get heat stroke. People have died out there from heat exhaustion and other heat-related issues. So I think there needs to be still that objectivity that is going to be that component that gets people to places correctly at a different, proper parts of the year. Because when I went to that website, which, well, first of all, I was lucky I found the links. When I tried to do a Google search, I couldn't find it, for one thing. So maybe that might be another thing for that, is a better SEO. But you shouldn't have people being directed to go to dinosaur tracks in the middle of summer. Even the U.S. Forest Service out there in Springfield, Colorado, who does tours out there in trucks, will not take people out in the middle of summer because it's too hot. So I think that's like a prime example of, how a marketing firm can do great, but also they need to be informed correctly about what to put out there during the time. So whoever told them, this, website producer, hey, going to the dinosaur tracks in the summer is great, that was a poor timing. So something like that is a critical critique, I think, that I'm giving, and I hope that it can be learned upon.
Yeah, that's a good point. In terms of finding it on Google, though, that campaign just launched like a week ago or something. That's part of what we're running through today, so everyone knows what's going on with it. But definitely appreciate the dino tracks being roasty toasty, without a doubt. That is not something that you necessarily want to jump on. So, overall, that campaign is a lot of it's just like checklist focused without going into super details on each of them. I don't know if the website goes deeper or not, to be frank. I haven't explored all of it, so.
And I get that, but still, promoting it as a lazy, crazy days of summer is not a good thing to promote during the summer. It gets to over 100 degrees out there, and it's dangerous. It's 11 miles back in and out from hiking. So that's my example of that. but like also, there's some other issues with that side, like there's a link to a pickleball court. I don't think we really have pickleball courts other than what's going on at the community center or what Raggio goes and sets up over to Los Niños Park. So that's another link at that visittrinidadcolorado.com portion that's kind of a challenge. There's also old events that are posted from Artocade. I mean, I remember you mentioned earlier about a media library being put together with Jeff Montoya. I think that's great. But right now what we have up is events that, like you mentioned earlier, they're defunct. So why are we showcasing events that don't even occur anymore?
Yeah, Pat was just touching on that, and that's part of the website facelift that we have ongoing. Should be removing the things that are already done. So.
Sure, and I get that, and that's good. But I'm sure whoever created this website, someone in-house gave them context. And that's what we need to look at and make sure that it's correct and accurate.
Thank you so much.
The problem is that the website has not been maintained, and that's what they're trying to do now. So the content that was on there, I think everything was put on there some time ago and has not been maintained. So it has not been, but they are working on it now. I don't know if you guys really should, but I have a feeling that our next meeting will be interesting during our Destination Like You portion. If you want to tune in for that, we will definitely be addressing your concerns, all of us. I've been taking.
Well, I might say too that we all know that we're trying to catch things and massage this so that we're moving smoothly. But that's why we're having this meeting, is we need that input from you. If you see something you question it's wrong, maybe we didn't see it or maybe it didn't click or something, but this helps a lot having this kind of feedback.
Yeah, no, I mean, in a lot of cases I absolutely did not see it. We as board members can also only do so much. That's not to make an excuse, but that is part of why, as Chris is saying, we're out here having these, like instituting these meetings, which will be a regular thing moving forward. So I do urge you to go ahead, feel free to just like send a quick note and say like, hey, I noticed this thing, whether it's a typo or whatever, and that way we can at least funnel it to somebody to get addressed, because I'm not going to read every single post that's going out. I see what I see as it comes through, and so it's going to take everybody to help keep an eye on that stuff.
And I understand that it's not your job to read every post, but this is on the landing page. And I mean, this is something I thought you guys would have looked at when it was first presented to you through staff. So that way, and I get it, we're working things out, but this new page is called the Lazy Crazy Days of Summer, and yet here we are just finding out about it a week ago landing, and we're almost at July 4th weekend. So I think always timing is of the essence. Again, this is just constructive criticism, nothing personal, but it's, we've got a business too downtown, and we rely heavily on the fact that the city of Trinidad will do a great job of making sure that we have a good, healthy, vibrant tourist economy, because we rely heavily on tourists as well as our local economy.
Yeah. I would in general, and I want to preface it by saying I'm not being defensive of this campaign, because frankly I do not have any real attachment to it. But these are all building blocks. So I know we're in midsummer, it's critical for everybody to get business in. And as I opened the meeting saying, I feel like we are 1 to 2 months behind where we really would have wanted to be in terms of the ad agency and the campaigns that they're running out. So I'll admit that right off the bat. But this current year, this is the first time the city has contracted with an agency in this manner. We need to take what they're doing, refine and build on it moving forward. So like this is the first actual like campaign that they're running at all. So the feedback is great. We will get that out to people, but also keep in mind that like this is still a little bit of an experimentation phase where we need to go out, see if it's working, see what the data says, and see if it's driving people to town. Because no, I do not want to send someone out into the Canyonlands to die in the heat. But also part of me says, well, if this ends up getting people to town, how much do I actually care? You know, I want it to be effective is my bottom line, and so we don't know until it's live, until it's out there working for us, if it's effective or not. So once again, I'm not trying to make excuses. We're taking notes on everything you guys are saying, and we're going to get that feedback back out to the agency. But also keep in mind, this is our first stab at all of this, and so I'm eager to see what comes out of the other end.
Yes.
Thank you.
This is a new process. Everything is new. We haven't had an agency working on this, as far as I know, before. It's all a learning curve. I'm brand new to this. I know Chris is an old hat, but the rest of us are kind of new. We definitely want to make sure that we're moving in the right direction, and we definitely want to make sure that you guys know that you can let us know when these things are happening. Please tell us, because I have a lot going on in my life, and I'm not on there looking at every little thing that comes out like Joe says. But if you notice something and it needs to be fixed, by all means, please let me know, and we will get on top of it as soon as possible.
Well, at one point, like Tracy, she had a whole list of actual typos, and I don't think it's enough to just say to the advertising agency that you got a bunch of typos, fix them. You know, we have a resource that has gone through. They need a list and to fix specific things, not just look it over and find what you find. Before it goes out. And how long have we been working with that agency?
And I'll say again, give all that you have to Marty. She talks to them more regularly than we do. But it definitely needs to be presented directly, each typo.
Yeah, right. Each one, a list. And also, so when did we start working with them?
That hasn't been that long.
Contract was signed at the tail end of 23, so they were onboarding in like January, February.
And so, okay. It is just odd. I mean, my mother-in-law handed me, a Denver Post review of all the little towns you should visit in Colorado, and Trinidad was included. And it listed Reno's, which is, the Singing Waiters, that's closed. Listed the Arcade, that's closed. So, I mean, I would think that a priority list for the PR or for the advertising agency would be to make sure if you got them on in January, they should have been making sure that the website launch page to this person's point and all these typos should have been a priority item that was fixed. What's open, what's available. We just look stupid when people come and say, where's the Arcade? Where's the Singing Waiters?
I didn't know it was closed.
They're reopened. Just closed.
It's been recent, but he's been trying to sell it for a while.
It's been a few months. It's been closed a couple months at least, and I spoke to a relative of the new owners. They came into the museum and were buying them some fun stuff as a yay, you bought this restaurant kind of thing. And she said it would be at least a year because they're completely renovating the whole building, which if you've gone to Reno's, you know it's
very old.
But that's not going to be open for quite a while, and it's not going to be anything like Reno's. They're seasoned restaurateurs. They've done it a bunch. They know exactly what they're doing, and they're going to be opening again. Just
anyway, just the accuracy. It's that advertising agency should have had this as a priority to have what's actually open and what's not open. That just doesn't seem like a.
Well, when you give a contract, they have to do a whole strategic plan to figure out how it is that they're going to most efficiently spend the money.
I think they just got access to the website too. That was a problem, an issue for the first few months that they were working with us. They didn't even have access. So we had to get them access to the website.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what all the particular
We just
are, but
like
a few months ahead of the open tourist season, that you can't even get accurate about what's here and what's not here. That seems just like something, you know, it seems like an obvious thing that should just go first. I know it's not you, and I get it that we're just.
I highly recommend watching next month's first meeting. Yeah. It's going to be an accountability day for destination. Yeah. I'm not happy. I'm an mama.
I'm not throwing off the
Matt is
typos,
good at that.
I don't want to sit up here and point fingers either,
Especially
but
about like typos.
yeah.
Like typos are unacceptable. They're professional.
There are many, especially in regards to the website, we feel the same frustrations that you do.
It's brought up every meeting.
Yeah, and that's going back prior to the firm even coming on, and when the city had a communications person whose job was to maintain the website. So that has been an ongoing thorn in our side as well. Yeah.
I don't understand that.
I remember we had a curator not too long ago, and his now wife, Sarah, she did communications for the city. And I would see her all the time, and I'd be like, Sarah, why isn't this posted? They won't let me post it. I'm not allowed to post this or that. So even if you have somebody that's in charge of this, you gotta let them do the job. And, you know.
Agreed.
I mean, that was 2 years ago, but still, that was an issue 2 years ago when they actually had the employee.
Again, that's why we have these meetings. We hear this.
So it sounds like when you talk to them, please ask them for their solutions on these things. That, you know, our community is bringing these things up, and they don't seem like they make sense. So how do you, as a professional destination IQ, help us solve this? Because this isn't a good contract for us if we're riddled with problems.
I mean, there's always going to be mistakes. I ran a newspaper for 8 years, and on a daily basis, people would call and say, I can't believe I found 3 typos. Well, there's about 4 million words in that paper today, and you only found 4 typos. That is great. I've read every single word, and I would miss them every single day. But when it's Senor Blandina instead of sister, that's beyond typo. That's a flat-out mistake that looks bad on the city. I'm not gonna gripe too loud about the wrong tense of the word there, but when something is named completely wrong, there's a bigger issue.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely laziness, is what I would say. Is like not proofing that. Yeah, you want somebody proofing that, and I've noticed some of their other clients. I would say that it looks like the social media posts in particular are getting a little more care and attention than what they've been putting out for Trinidad. So, yeah, worth.
I thought one for Art Festival was really good. I saw that post a couple days ago.
Well, you know, I think that video though was produced by the Art Fest, and they were just.
Well, that's why.
Yeah. But they have some okay content. But yeah, I think that they have room to step it up big time.
Hey folks, this is Carlos. I've got one last comment. I got to jump off. I'm sorry, I'm just out of town and web service and such. But the comment earlier was brought up about Winterfest. I just want to let you guys know, for us, and we're an outdoor gear business that caters to, you know, winter activities. Winterfest for us this year was a bust. We did poorly. They shut down the streets. I know we had a big snowstorm, and it's really sad that winter would curtail, Winterfest. But the streets weren't cleared by the city, so that really hurt us. The streets were shut down early in the day, and the lights were turned off at night, so I think a lot of people were confused for our business. And maybe the people that went downtown to see things that were there enjoyed it. I'm sure that was great. But I just want to let you guys know our numbers, and I'll be quite frank with you on this. This year during Winterfest, day of, we only did $129 in sales. Compared to the year before when there was no activity at all, we did almost $1,600 in sales. So that is a huge discrepancy for us, and I just want to let you know, I like the idea. I think it needs to be done better with better communication with the city, for the city staff, to make sure that if we have snow again, the streets are cleared, maybe that they demonstrate that, hey, this is a festival going on, please come downtown. But as a business owner, I was hoping Winterfest was going to do us good, and it was terrible. So anyway, just letting you know, I think there's work that can be done. I think that it was a great premise, though, to go between two counties and do multiple activities, but I think better preparation and organization is key to making sure that us businesses do well and want to be supportive of it for years to come. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Carlos.
Any more questions on this section? We have one more slide yet to go through. No? All right. So the last thing that we have is the Lazy Crazy Days of Summer campaign. There's a slide deck. Each of you should have had a copy of it on your chair. So this is a social media toolkit for your business. I think it's set up more like a checklist of things that you can do to participate in this campaign. Do you want me to just continue to go through it? Or
Just go ahead and go through it. It's self-explanatory.
So campaign overview, we have some objectives. They are attract more visitors to Trinidad by highlighting its unique summer activities and events, showcase the city's natural beauty, historical sites, recreational opportunities, and local businesses, involve local businesses and residents in the campaign to create a welcoming environment and drive economic benefits for local businesses in the community through increased tourism spending. Let's see. Target audiences are adventure seekers and outdoor enthusiasts that are interested in outdoor activities. Families looking for a variety of activities, history and culture. Local and regional residents of Colorado and nearby states, and event and festival goers. Our tactics and messaging, campaign tactics. There's a campaign landing page on the Visit Trinidad website. We'll take a look at that next week. City of Trinidad organic social media promotions. So it has been out on a carousel on Facebook. City of Trinidad meta ads, printed wrap cards at the visitor center, and distributed to local businesses. Have some nice work.
And there is a box of those cards, and you are welcome to take them and distribute them at your locations. And they're just a small rack card. So if you want to take them to museums or wherever you are and just display those, and you can hand them out to your visitors.
I'll need some more. Tourism, business, and organization collaboration and support. Next slide. Let's see. Campaign tactics, businesses and attractions. So social media posts on business or organization accounts, utilizing provided content and images within this campaign. Cross-promote on business and organization websites, sharing Instagram or Facebook social media, lazy crazy days of summer ads on your own channels. So if you make sure, it just gives you some instructions on how to do it. Log in, paste that link. You'll be asked if you want to show the ad, all that.
Yeah, the reason that you have to jump through those hoops if you want to reshare those is just, as I mentioned, the ads are suppressed against Trinidad locals, so you would not see it otherwise unless you hit the link and share it. So.
Yeah, and that's it. You'll see it if you're following that account, right?
For some stuff, but not everything.
Display wrap cards in an easily visible location. Create and promote discounts or special offers related to the campaign. So if someone comes in and says they're participating in this campaign, offer them a little prize, a free drink or something like that. Then we're just going through some stuff about Trinidad.
These are examples of what is published as part of the campaign. So this is what people would actually see if they're engaging with the content.
Is that on the website?
Mm-hmm.
Can you click through probably?
I mean, yeah, I have to go share a different screen. Though.
Oh wait, no, it's Marty that's doing it. Never mind, Marty's doing it.
No. Yeah, I'm sharing.
Is that you?
Mm-hmm. Joe's sharing. I'm just making it bigger so people can see it tomorrow.
Yeah, so this is just stuff that's on the website. Mm-hmm. So there's a few pages of things that are actually on the website.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a checklist. So pretty much it's just a toolkit, kind of an instructional packet. Where can you get the items that you would use? How would you share them? What does it look like? Just kind of trying to tie everyone into one campaign for the entire town. And then again, this is the first time that this has happened, right? So next one will be much better. We learned a lot this time.
Are these actual pages from the new website?
This right here is the landing page for this campaign. Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That is on a link in the new website.
But these pages with all these, the way these are laid out?
It's what I have up on the screen right
just
now.
For us.
I think that was just a campaign presentation.
Those are screenshots of what I have up. So this is actual live website. So if you go through here and click on each of these, it expands. And you can click on links from there to get more information.
Okay. Do you have any questions about this? Marty?
There is probably a little more in that text. I just jumped onto the website.
I need to get it. Brand guidelines?
Yeah. So, I mean, these are, if you choose to engage in the campaign from your own side, personal or from the business, recommendations on how to structure your post and how to kind of speak about it. Obviously, feel free to say whatever you like, but to have consistency, these are just some general guidelines on how to do so.
So the logo is available to...
Yeah, this is
click on that link.
This is all built into this kit. Of course, you can't click on the ones we printed out, but we have digital versions to distribute of this deck. So you could grab this stuff and create your own posts from there. The last section here are some example posts. So just to make it really easy for people, you could just grab a post straight out of here and reshare it. I know for me, a lot of times the easiest thing is just resharing directly from my own business account and then maybe adding a little blurb about it. So maybe I'll throw up an Instagram story or I'm resharing an existing post. I'm like, hey, we love these guys. Check this thing out. Whatever context you want to add around it. So general idea behind the toolkit is just to make it easy for businesses and individuals to participate without having to, if you do your own social media content, I'm sure you know that it can take a lot of time. Just sitting there and trying to think of what to write. So There are different categories throughout here. General campaign posts, stuff that's specific to restaurants or accommodations or shopping. And the last is the county.
Any questions?
Oh yeah, got an image library. So yeah, at the end here, there's links for images that you can use. Side note, we have an ongoing Hometown Pride photo contest. If you know anybody who's into photography, there's cash money up for grabs on that. They do have to sign over the rights to the city for their images as part of it, but that's open through the end of July.
Hey Barney, can you email out to the list that deck so they can have links?
Yep, that's the plan.
Okay, cool. I kind of figured maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So this is kind of the launch, explaining what it is, letting people know what there is, and then tomorrow this will go out to the stakeholder list and everybody will have the digital version. So you can access the image library, you can access the logo, you can access all the hashtags, you can access all the written verbiage that's been prepared that you can use, and basically it's your way of participating as a community on one campaign and saying, having the same voice, the same messaging, so that we all are kind of consistent in what we're doing as, you know, promoting the destination. Just a little kit for you. Okay.
Anything else from you? No? I think that was all that we had to present. Do you guys have any additional questions?
Brad made a suggest it might be a good component to add this kind of stakeholder meeting.
Yeah, feedback on the meeting format is great too, since we'll be doing this regularly moving forward.
Yes.
I think this is great. I think that maybe we're kind of aiming for next year rather than this year.
Yeah, a lot of it.
This year was learning.
Yeah, it's been a lot of foundational stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of training happened this year. Great ideas are happening, but they happen maybe a little too late.
Yeah.
But we have them now, so we can start early for next time.
But I would get after that advertising agency. I mean, that's
crazy.
We do. It's also that we're trying to harmonize the pains and planes and the destination blueprint along with destination.
We have a lot of programs.
So we have some great programs that have been funded by the state, and we've been given grants, and we're trying to meld all of those together to be most cost efficient and put everybody on the same page.
So we have had marketing agencies before. I mean, a lot of this tourism stuff is constantly being revamped. You know, recreating the wheel at every juncture. You know, it's really hard to make, you know, if you can make a living in Trinidad, you can make a living anywhere. And I mean that. The 4th of July isn't even mentioned in any of this. I know that we've been doing fireworks and having an event out there since 2015. You know, the triggers did get a line. And I guess, you know, I'm not right in front of these people saying, me. I don't have time to do that. I'm not getting paid to do the tourism work. They need to know what's on our calendar. They need to know our community. I mean, I'm sorry, I take, you know, offense to the fact that they don't. And so, anyway, I mean, I appreciate y'all what you're trying to do. It's not, you know, your fault. I mean, they were let a contract, and here we are. It's the end of June, and we're discussing these things now and finding these errors. And, you know, and Marty knows me. I mean, she and I go way back as Chamber of Commerce from 2003. I mean, it's difficult to keep it all on the same page, but if we have, you know, all these old, outdated items on the website and nothing new and nothing, you know, not doing a calendar, might as well just chuck it. I mean, truly. I mean, I feel that way. And so I'm just, you know, I sit here and I'm just a little disappointed in the fact that, you know, some of our most important events aren't even on there. I don't know. That's just, I mean, that's, you can send that right up the chain to those folks or whatever, but I really feel like they need to be in our community and they need to know it.
Yeah. I do think we could get 4th of July added.
It's already been added, it's scheduled.
I was about to say, I think I saw an ad
to
for
the,
4th of July.
It was in
For-
the last
for-
deck that we got.
For Lazy Crazy Days, though?
No.
Yeah, so I know we have a separate promotion that I also did see out live for 4th of July. So there's a whole separate post out for that. We could probably get it added onto the summer campaign as well.
Well, I just sent you some stuff too now.
But yeah, I know that they've done at least one post recently on triggers, and that's something that we have returned to highlight.
There's an ongoing triggers post, and then there is, I think that one's an organic post, and then there's a meta ads for 4th of July that are scheduled for this week.
Yeah, I'm not aware of this. I mean, I know I was spinning my wheels. Well, we gotta have a professional baseball team here, and with as much baseball changes as been in this country, it's a miracle that there's one minor team in a small town. So we really need to calculate that. Of course, I'm not saying that wrong.
No, I was glad to see him get something out on it because it's summertime, and I mean, I love the triggers. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I was excited to finally see something come out.
And with the new park, it's just truly a jewel.
I do
so
also.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to go off the triggers anyway. I was just going to say that I appreciate your frustrations on like reinventing the wheel, because it seems like that's unlimited tourism in this town. It happens across the board all the time. I would say the digital approach that we're pursuing is something that is completely new for Trinidad in particular. So,
pulling it all together because it is.
Yeah.
It's
I am. I'm intrigued just to see if it's successful or not. That's all I'll say on that. Is going all in on the digital front.
it's really something that has to be worked every day.
So just keep in mind, though, when we decided what our target market was, we specifically are targeting our ads, and that includes triggers and 4th of July and our other events in other areas besides in Trinidad. So you may not see these ads. You might not see these ads, and so you are thinking that we're not doing anything to promote this. That's not the case.
Well, and I did get in on Fox Buy, and just
right.
Did all of that.
Right. So any money that we're spending on our advertising is not being spent to promote in Trinidad. It's been spent on areas outside of Trinidad.
One thing for a future meeting, I'll try and get a little more comprehensive reporting in terms of like, today was broad, there was a lot to cover. Now that we have, like, people have an understanding of what is going on, like being able to sit through and basically show you what DIQ shows us month to month in terms of like visitor count. These are the ads that went out and what got clicked on and all that. I think it would be great to have a single dashboard that we could share with all the stakeholders that has that information. We get a bi-weekly review deck from them on what they're working on that includes some of that stuff, but then they also have like a separate, like a social media dashboard that we can see. Most of that I don't see any real reason why we couldn't share out more publicly. And that would give you some insight into like what's getting published when, how broad of a reach it has, what the targeting is, that type of stuff.
Well, and the cooperative analytics would be, with
I have
as well.
something
what my numbers
I
look
can
like
share.
with their numbers.
Yeah.
Joe, if you just give me 1 second.
Thank you.
Pull up that deck.
We own business, it's not part of this, marketing campaign component. We have the criteria for tourism kind of services. But I guess if you're asking businesses in the community to do this, one, is your marketing entity tracking if they're putting this on their social media? Is your marketing entity also tracking their hits on what they're getting with this in any capacity? Like, what is their outreach and what is the value add to that business to spend time to do this? Because these are small businesses with 1 or 2 owners and asking them to do this.
We're not asking anyone to do anything. We're offering you the opportunity to participate in the campaign. We were asked the question, how do we How do we participate in this campaign? What can we do? So we put this together so that if somebody wants to, they can. No one's being asked to do it.
Well, I think that's where the confusion is. Because
Right.
just what I'm hearing tonight, it's like I'm being asked as a business. to do
You are
this.
not being asked. You
That's
are
what the
being offered an
communication-
opportunity.
But that's what the communication tonight, to me, as an outsider sitting here listening to it tonight, was I'm being asked as a business to do this, not I can participate in it. So
Right.
The question to me as a business owner would be, what is the value add to me to spend the time to do this? And also, if you're paying marketing entities to put this together and folks are participating, what kind of hits are they actually getting? Is it drawing folks in from their social media as well?
Yeah.
Are you tracking that?
There's no way that our firm could track like a third-party post that they don't have insight into the back end in terms of just like the technical, nitty-gritty of it. They can potentially see some traffic sources like.
Joe, I just pulled up that Google Analytics over here.
Oh, cool. But like this type of data, they could track if you shared it from a different website, for example, they would know that your link from that website funneled them to this landing page. So the landing page itself has analytics on it for this campaign that can tell you where they came from. However, that's going to be varying depending on the traffic source and things like that. So they might only be able to see like X many visits came from Facebook, not X many visits came from Joe's Facebook page versus Visit Trinidad's Facebook page or something like that.
If businesses though do participate in this, though, are you guys going to track what businesses do participate in so that how many engage with the process?
I think the only real way to do that, like execution-wise, would be if the business uses a hashtag, then you can go and see it. Maybe with some like searching, if you search on like Lazy Crazy Days, like you could probably find those posts. I do not know like if that's on the radar for them in terms of tracking the amplification side of things. I'm sure they'll have a pulse on that on the hashtags. At least they ought to. To speak to your question about the value delivery, that's part of what I kind of led off with at the top of the call when we were talking just about overall goals and collaboration and working together. And we don't all have to agree on the actual specifics. Like you might hate Lazy Crazy Days of Summer, that's fine. Like as a I'm not saying that you do. I'm saying as a campaign. No, but not you, anybody, the proverbial you. They might say, "Wow, that's a stupid campaign. I don't like it," or whatever, and that's fine. But ultimately, I'm a small business owner with one other co-owner. Like I'm in the same boat, and so to me, we all need to be speaking the same language when we're out interacting with tourists. It doesn't matter what your business is. You interact with people that I don't. I send people to your business. You send people my way. Like we're all in it together in terms of supporting each other, and so that applies on the tourism side in general. Going like zooming way out. For me lately, like. Improvement is great, but tearing things down all the time is really bad. And when it goes, in terms of going out and promoting our town, like staying positive is really important. Like we can't be out there talking to people being like, wow, you wouldn't believe the like bullshit coming up at these council meetings. Like that is not a good look. And so I just think it's vital to keep that in mind that like what we do and say between each other is different than what we say out to the public, and having the same like cohesive messaging and being on the same page, whether it's a single campaign or just what does Visit Trinidad mean, that's really crucial. So that's where that value comes from, I think, is like being in there supporting each other, kind of showing that love and just like staying positive, recognizing, wow, Trinidad's a cool place and we want people here. That builds on itself instead of like pulling it down,
Well said.
Any other questions? Anything else from you guys you want to share?
Thank you guys for coming.
We really appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
We hope you don't give up on us just yet. I don't know about everybody, but my goal is to work with community as much as possible. To be completely transparent about everything and to make sure that we're doing this in a way that is not incorrect or immoral or.
And we appreciate that y'all are trying, that y'all are volunteers, and this is y'all's free time, and y'all are trying. You don't get anything out of it.
So when we complain, you know, it's just because you're here. You invited us to come and
Things of that nature.
And we all want Trinidad to be better, so, or we would, none of us would be showing up.
Yeah, so it's your free time too.
Thank you.
And again, if we don't know something's broken, we can't fix it.
Yeah.
So that's where we rely. So that's when we rely on you. It's like you need, it's important that you point out the things that are broken. We understand that. So thank you.
We have one more discussion for this week. Last thing on the agenda is the discussion of next week's agenda, our next meeting's agenda. And boy, do I have a list. So on the next agenda, I have a radio ad update to see if that finally went through. A discussion about the decision matrix. I have our Destination IQ update along with while they're here, we're going to have lots of questions for them, and I want to discuss the new grant cycle with Lindsay while she's on the call.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to have the treasurer discussion that we said we needed. Also, discuss our council work session. What we're going to talk about there with the lobbying tax discussion, as well as the council updates. We'll do update to council. Try to get on that work session. We'll discuss that next meeting. Also, I would like to talk about GovCon and the Governor's Tourism Conference, as well as the Travel and Adventure Expo. We can discuss that, and then I'd like to talk about whether or not we're going to plan the Winter Fest.
Okay.
Sorry, when is the next meeting?
Lodging tax second and
fourth
Thursdays,
11 a.m. in the front room space.
Yeah. Well, the first meeting is going to be at 11 a.m. That's going to be on.
Oh, but that's not for us.
July
No, that's a regular board
You're
meeting.
welcome to attend.
It is public,
You can also
yeah.
watch it on Tom Murphy's channel.
This next on this 25th of July will be our residents meeting.
Okay.
So this one was business partners. Next one is residents, and then the following month will be other boards.
So in July, it'll be September.
September will be the next time we do a business partners.
26th, I believe.
Thank you. Yeah, looks like the 26th will be the next business partner. But feel free to come to all of us.
Chris.
So your agenda for today, actually.
On the agenda for next time.
The list of businesses, one for the first class. That's Yelp, or I don't remember who that was from.
All right, what you got? All right, you gonna make a motion?
Just do it here.
Go for it.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Can I get a second? All in favor of adjournment? Aye. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.